The touch of your hand makes me tremble within. Love the smell of your hair.
Man, feeling well, man.
What's your name?
My name is Cardi Cornish.
And you a legend?
I'm a legend.
You a legend here in Baltimore City. Where we at right now?
We live in the 17, Pennsylvania Avenue. The legendary Pennsylvania Avenue.
Man, the last time I saw you here, you were doing something just across the street here. What were you doing?
Oh yeah, I had some food left over from an event. We brung it out. We fed a couple of people, man.
Why you do that?
Nice soul food. Huh?
Why you do that?
Man, the love that God has shown me in Christ, man, it overflows. That's how it overflows.
That's right.
We got more than we can use.
Already was high within San Antonio, Winchester community, but the age group is getting younger. Children under the age of 18 being murdered in San Antonio has a high peak right now. So our goal is to catch the children.
You going hard, man. You going hard on that man today.
So what do you think, Mr. Mayor? You got manufacturing right here, helping our young people despite all of the challenges in the city of Baltimore, right here on North Avenue.
No, it's really about the growth. Just knowing where, being there when they were down in Port Covington and seeing how far it's grown. Like you said earlier, like getting the sorbet, where we got the sorbet at the beginning, but now being able to, when I'm at Canada Yards, get it, or anytime I'm down at Harbor Place to get it, and folks to not even know, but they gonna know now that like this is coming from young people in West Baltimore, right there in West Baltimore on North Avenue, where they think nothing great comes from, but they can see it in what the young people do.
Here on the bank of Mississippi, with our very dear friend Floyd Mathis. A beautiful town, just leaving Algiers, which is an update 10 years since Katrina.
It's a smile on your face. And as time goes by, I know I'm in a better place. I'm in a better place.
All right, y'all, this is what I came to New York for. Besides the Black Wall Street Awards, we're going ahead and get some of this real good jerk chicken. Johnny Glover, out.
Of your skin, just the touch of your hand makes me tremble within.
But we need to feed our loved ones. DOCS needs to rescind this package policy program so that our loved ones are able to eat every day in that filthy facility that they
We have some stars in the building.
first name's Doni, last name's Glover, in it to win it for the long haul, baby. All right, it's a brand new year, and we're going to get it off. We're going to get it popping off right. All the way from Massachusetts. Can y'all say Massachusetts fast 3 times? without missing a letter or a consonant. Massachusetts. Anyway, Tasha Sharif Vanzie. 4-name tribe. How y'all doing?
Good morning, Doni. Good morning. And yes, I am from Massachusetts, but I'm a Maryland resident.
Maryland for life. You're a Ravens fan?
Big time Ravens fan.
Now what about the Mr. Vanzie? I'm about to say the Navy SEAL. I've been watching Navy SEAL movies all night.
Right. So Mr. Vanzie hails from Los Angeles by way of Belize, and so he is a Raiders fan, but he's also yeah, he is, man, hardcore, but he's also a Ravens fan. Come on, we're PSL holders. So absolutely.
Who are those people for the Raiders?
Hey, Raiders fans are diehard. Much respect to them. Through the good times and the hard times, and they're going through some hard times right now.
Yeah, we love Oakland though. A lot of Black history in Oakland. Black Panthers come out of Oakland, standing up for our people. Matter of fact, Kathy Adams runs the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce, and she was recently featured on bemonnews.com. She raised, I think, 63 for several businesses. She gave them $63,000 each. Back during when the pandemic was at its height, I think she gave away over $1 million to the to businesses in the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. Kathy Adams, look her up.
Kathy Adams, I sure will. Yes.
Phenomenal person. Sets the bar high for what Black chambers can do.
That's inspirational.
Living in Baltimore, I like to see a Black chamber that's like popping, like up in the tri-state area, Philadelphia, New Jersey. The chamber located in Philadelphia serves 3 states, I believe Delaware. They're doing great strides, so it's always good. Anyway, enough about them. Tell us about you. You have the most important job in the world, CSO of Agile Care Enterprises. No, you are a mom, super mom.
I'm a mom. Yeah, I'm a mom.
Up in the house.
Yes. Everything I do in life is really inspired by me being a mother. My career has been designed and created around being a mother. And it's because I thought I never would be a mother. I thought I was going to be, when I was in my 20s, a high-powered CEO, of a corporation, no children, living in the city, probably New York, and living in life and being that, the auntie. But life changed when I met my husband, and I actually saw the path forward to being not just a loving wife, but being able to bring life into this world that would be promising and contributing. And so when I became a mother, everything changed. And so everything I do is inspired by my children. And my children are very creative, loving people who are constantly looking and seeking ways to help not just themselves, but others. Actually, they tend to put others first.
Rare.
So yeah, they're rare. They're very rare. We recognize that. And we have made sure that we built a community around them and their peers that is, in my opinion, a model to behold. They're being raised in a very nurturing environment, but also an environment that challenges them to push against the grain, be highly self-defined and self-determined, and to not just believe in the impossible, but to manifest it through the hard work.
So, Tasha, you and I have a mutual friend,
Yes,
Marcus, and
yes,
the 3 of us hold education very dear. When I think of Massachusetts, there's only one person I think, or the first person that comes to mind. Do you know who that is for me out of Black history?
It could be so many different people. Who is that?
Born on February 23rd. And that's easy to remember because that's my daughter's birthday.
Okay.
William Edward Burghardt Du Bois.
Oh, yes. Okay.
W.E.B. Du Bois.
W.E.B. Du Bois. Yeah.
He was from Great Barrington.
Yes.
And
that's the east side for us.
the east side.
Yeah. Marcus and I are from Western Massachusetts.
Well, W.B. Du Bois is my favorite intellectual of any race. And I remember in his book, Souls of Black Folk, he talked about wanting to beat the brakes off of his white classmates intellectually every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Yes.
Beat the brakes off of them in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he did. I mean, he went on to Harvard and getting a PhD at a time when it wasn't fashionable at all for Black America, but there's a certain standard. And I talk about it in this book, Black Wall Street, about Black history. Black history started, the freedom movement, education, New York, that whole area, you Northeast. New York was the first to abolish slavery in America. So, of course, there was the North and there was the South. Down South, education wasn't as impressed upon people, according to the history. But up North, Northeast, you got to read, you got to learn.
Yeah.
Tell me about education. Why is it important to you?
Right. And while people were believing that education wasn't impressed upon our people during those times, pre-Emancipation Proclamation and pre-Reconstruction, my family, the Spencer family of Freetown, Maryland, which is nestled in between Pasadena, Maryland, and Glen Burnie, were among the founders of educational institutions in this country. And so pre-Emancipation Proclamation, we had schools in Freetown. The Underground Railroad ran through our town. People knew that if you came to our town, you found refuge. And it was founded by my ancestor, Captain James Spencer. We have our plaques all through the town right now. And other families that were really brought the land. We found land, they brought the land for pennies on the dollars back then. And that was unheard of for a Black man, and he was a free man. This is pre-Emancipation Proclamation. And so we're the founders of the first schools for African diasporic people in this country, in this region. And they were done in collaboration.
Let's wrap our brains around this.
Wrap your brains around that.
Before slavery had ended, before 1865, your people
were free. Yes.
The lady is gone now, Dr. Helen here in Baltimore. She may have been the first Black person to tell me that she did not have a history of slavery in her lineage. When I hear young rappers saying, I came from the bottom, how do you know you came from the bottom?
Don't know.
How do you know you're not
unless
related?
You've done your research, yes. Yeah.
How do you know you're not related to Tasha? You may be a descendant of some Blacks who were not enslaved. Not all Blacks were in slavery. Not all whites were free.
And that's not to say that I don't have slavery in my lineage. That's my father's side, and that's one side of his family.
I tell him to prove it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't assume you do.
Exactly. And that's our position. Go back and do the work and do the research to identify and find out who you are. We have the capability to do that now. And so the onus is going to be on the family. Someone in the family has to step up or persons to be the historian. And in my family, that person is Tony Spencer, who is also a prolific artist with work that's displayed in various museums and art galleries. He and his wife are also playwrights. But it's so important to look back and determine and figure out who you are. We should not be taking our history for granted and accepting the story that especially our public institutions have been designed to feed us. We have to take control of our own stories. And so that's one of the reasons why my husband and I chose to homeschool. And so we've been homeschooling from the beginning. Our children are what we call world school because we take them with us throughout the world and throughout their travels. The world is not only their playground, but it's their greatest educational institution where we are passing down resources to them so that they can be empowered. That is the true definition of education. The true definition of education should not be conflated with schooling. Schooling is a vehicle for distributing education. That's all it is. It's one facet of many facets of education. Education truly means the passage of resources from one generation to the next so that the next generation may flourish. If your schooling systems are not doing that, ensuring your children flourish, prosper, then you do not have a system of education. And so I was taught that from the time I was a child. My parents were part of the Nation of Islam movement, helped to find some of the temples in Massachusetts. Actual Temple 13 was their temple at that time. They eventually left the nation, but they did not leave the faith nor the practice of self-determination, only for my father to, when he started digging deeper into his history and respecting his history, realizing that, wait a minute, I already had a rich legacy. I didn't need another group of people to tell me how to be self-determined. We had the model within our own family. And so when I went to college at 17, went to Howard University, all I did was return home. I returned to my history and to my legacy, and I embrace it fully. And I'm proud today to be able to be a mother that is a living manifestation of everything my ancestors have envisioned.
That's a beautiful story. What were you doing Saturday?
So Saturday, what was I doing? Saturday, I was watching my children be honored for their love work within a community that loves and adores them. I was watching my children step into the expectation of Black excellence that they've always known. For them to go to the Black Wall Street Summit and to be amongst all our beautiful founders, educators, leaders, community activists, for them, that wasn't only a dream come true, that was expectation. Like they said, oh yeah, this is good. You know, there should be more people. We should be in a bigger space. That's what they thought, because that's what they're accustomed to. But to be honored by your organization, Doni, and all those people, they were so humbled. I mean, I can almost cry now. They were so humbled. They wanted to know why us? Why us? Like, you know, why are we receiving recognition for the work we're doing? We're just doing what we do, you know? And so we were at the Black Wall Street at the Sankofa's Children's Museum, which is a community treasure. And it was good to see you deliver that event in that space, bringing people back full force into Park Heights community, which is a locus point of and stronghold of Black business, as we know. It was a space of not just inspiration, but affirmation and confirmation that we are on the right track, being focused on not beating out anyone else, but just being the pure excellence that we are, and digging deeper and sowing deeper and making a commitment to make sure that we were working as community and family. And so for me, it was everything, because my children need to see it. They see it a lot in our collective of families, which are broad. They're here, they're throughout our region. We have families across the country and really throughout the world that we engage with. And we've been, and by we, I say my husband and I, we've been telling them all along that we could live anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world. We could live on the beaches of Belize or Costa Rica, or really anywhere. We can live anywhere in the world and plant our business anywhere in the world. But we have specifically chosen Baltimore as our home base of our tech company, because we know it is the gem of the world. No matter where we travel, and we travel often with our children, my children want to come home because they love Baltimore. They would be the first people to tell you, I am Baltimore. And so I feel like starting the year at the Black Wall Street event has set my children on a course that if we had not gone there, I don't know they would be as committed as they are today. And my children are very much like my husband and I. When we commit, we follow through. Like we're not quitters. We don't quit. We're not allowed to quit. When we commit, we follow through. And following through means we plan, right? We collect and aggregate our resources. We build capacity, and we very creatively execute. And so I just thank you for starting our new year off with purpose, intention, capability, and I know the ease to manifest what we say we're going to do. And this is a long-term strategy, and we're here for it, and we're bringing our community with us.
Should more of us be homeschooling?
So more of us should absolutely adopt a homeschooling mindset. A homeschooling mindset means that you as a family determine the educational course, curriculum, and philosophy of your family. But that also means that you have to choose your schooling vehicles, right? And so what that means is that some families are going to be better equipped to bring that structure and direction into the household. And so what that means is when you're a homeschooler, you're the superintendent. You're not just the principal. You're not just a teacher. You're not just a counselor. You're a superintendent, meaning that it's your responsibility to develop a system of education for your children that builds capacity amongst resources that helps to educate your children. So homeschoolers aren't just at home teaching every single academic class. For instance, for us, I have designed a highly interdisciplinary project-based model that I deploy in my children's homeschooling journey.
Highly
interdisciplinary, right?
Model.
And so, right. And it's interdisciplinary because life is interdisciplinary. It's not fractured into academic subject matter, right? And so we do applied knowledge application. You know, we operate from theory to practicum every semester. It's not just theoretical.
I don't know, man. I might want to go to regular school. I don't know. Your school sounds too hard. It's early.
It's hard. It is hard, and that's why my children have achieved so much at so young. It's hard, but we make it fun. You know, our philosophy is if you're not laughing a lot in our household, you're in the wrong household. So we make it fun. So we make the work fun because our children are seeing their parents do the work and be consummate scholars right alongside them. They see it. They work side by side with us all the time. And so we're not just telling them what to do, we're showing them how to do it. And so for families that are willing to do that with a high level of discipline, I think homeschooling is for them. For families that because of their stage in life, maybe they have to work outside of the home and they don't have time to supervise their children or supervise teachers who are deploying their curriculum, then they need to they need their children to go to traditional schools, but they need to be active participants in the parent-student associations. So a lot of people don't know this. My mother was one of the first people who established a parent-student association, and I was that student in Massachusetts that integrated the parent association with students. I was that student because my mother, who put me in traditional school, made sure that she was still highly involved in the deployment of the curriculum in that school. She did not allow schools to lead the cultural development of me. My parents didn't allow that. I went to school purely for the academic knowledge and to understand how to access certain resources. But the education of who I was culturally was not left to the schools.
Started at home.
It started at home. And she would come in and teach classes from every now and then, especially when it came to Black history or understanding politics and things like that. Like she would do that. She was always a math tutor, for instance, at all of my schools. And we were always part of the parent student teacher association. Marcus and I served on student government together. That's how we got to know each other. You know,
A lot of people don't know this about New England, especially us as far south as Baltimore. But I think of the 1st Rhode Island Regiment. Are you familiar?
Yes, I am. Yes.
The 1st Rhode Island Regiment. Yep. Many say that all-black regiment, or mostly black regiment, tipped the Revolutionary War. Yep. And then we often forget about Crispus Attucks. Yep. What would prompt a black man, given our knowledge or what we think we have knowledge of today of Boston in the early days, what would prompt a black man to be the lead patriot against the British? And then there's a little piece of history about Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia is not far from Massachusetts, right?
That's right.
So after the Revolutionary War, there were, a lot of us don't know this, there were blacks who fought for the British, for the Black Queen. Yep. And after the war, those who weren't killed, they had to get them out of Dodge.
Right. Yep.
So they went to places like Sierra Leone.
That's right. Yep.
Tell us about Black history from a New England perspective. No, sir. No, sir. And then Boston guys say, no, sir.
Well, you hear my accent. I'm from Western Massachusetts, so we have more of that Hartford, New York accent. We don't have that Bostonian twang. So Massachusetts, number one, is only 3% people of 3% Black, right? And most of us are either in Springfield or we're in Western or Eastern Mass, which is the Boston area. I'm from Springfield, which, is that someone coming on? I'm from Springfield, Mass, which is the well-known town where the John Brown Rebellion was organized. And so the Springfield is a well-known.
That's my hero.
Yeah.
That's one of my heroes, white man. Oh, man.
Yeah, he was a white
Brown.
Man. Yes, he was a white man. Yeah.
He lived in Boston?
He lived in Springfield for some time. Yes.
Did not know.
Yes. So Springfield has a deep history in the abolitionist movement, and for becoming one of the sanctuary towns post-Reconstruction and the industrial migration north for people of color, especially Black people. And my parents were a part of that. That great migration from the South up north, especially after World War II, the Korean War and the Vietnam War, it pushed a lot of our, I shouldn't say replace, but it through the military, a lot of Black military personnel ended up moving up north. That's what happened to my family. We actually ended up at Westover Air Force Base. And so that began to integrate Springfield, and Springfield became one of those safe haven sanctuary towns, not just for citizens who were migrating north, but also for refugees and international persons who were immigrating to Springfield as well. And so what did that migration do? When you come into a place that is overwhelmingly white, and white not just in population, but in perspective and politics, we had no choice but to create our own community. And so we have a very rich Black community in Springfield that evolved outside of the center of Springfield in an area called Mason Square. And we're still in the midst of a lot of development there. But I can tell you right now, we have seen political leadership rise in the city of Springfield tremendously over the last 16 years. And so there's a lot of hope there. There's a lot of hope in Springfield. It's not a place that I prefer to live because there's still a lot of reliance on the education systems that are there versus people taking the onus for themselves. And that was a challenge for me. Industrial changes cause lots of shifts of people there. But, Springfield is still a stronghold of one of our very intentional Black populations that believe in the Black Wall Street movement and believe in collecting their resources and coming back together and taking control, hopefully, of their own destinies. And that's what I can say about Springfield. But I came back home for a reason. I came back home to Maryland for a reason, to be amongst people who never lost sight of that and are highly committed to making sure that as a people, we are doing the work to ensure not just our liberation, but our prosperity. And that's a different mindset. It's a different mindset. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your company. You're a chief strategic officer.
Yes. So my husband launched Agile Care Enterprises in the middle of the pandemic. It is a cybersecurity business strategy firm. We're also a federal government contractor. And so we offer B2B strategies for companies that want to partner with the federal government, but we also offer solutions for the federal government that help ensure that our assets are secure. So that's what we do. My expertise is as an enterprise architect, especially in the field of business and organizational design, instructional design, and training and curriculum design. When my husband decided that he was ready to commit to starting this organization, and we had planned 7 years before we launched, we planned it out. I decided to put 100% of my time and investment to ensuring that he was successful. And so as a chief strategy officer, I am focused on the long-term strategy, including the exit strategy of Agile Care Enterprises, to build it as one of the best-in-class cybersecurity companies in our nation, if not the world. But most importantly, we were inspired to develop this company because we saw the gifts of our children. And by our children, I don't mean only our biological children, but the children that we were already serving and developing through our nonprofit. This organization is designed to incubate any and every entrepreneurial desire and problem-solving interests they have. And so we built it not only to serve our country, but to offer as a model to other families to help them understand that the worst case scenario for their children should be that their children work for them. My children's worst case scenario is that they can work for me. And guess what? They do. My eldest daughter, who is 27, she's our business manager, and she's doing an outstanding job. My sons work for us as business associates. My 10-year-old is vying to work for us, but she has to earn that right. And so the organization, the enterprise, is truly designed to not just solve problems for the world that we live in, but to solve problems for ourselves. And it's an educational institution simultaneously.
It takes me right to Dr. Carter G. Woodson's Miseducation of the Negro, how we send our children to school only to come out and work for somebody else.
Work for somebody else. No, we're not having that. Yeah, the Vanzies aren't having that. Nah, no, we know better. So we're doing better. It takes a lot of work.
Federal 8A contracts.
Yes.
Certification. One of the things covered by the panel headed by Ricky Smith, CEO of the airport, was getting contracts. Any tips, any advice? Do you help do people hire you to help them to get contracts? Tell me about that.
Yes, absolutely. That's part of what we do. And so the key to one of the keys to getting contract is you have to have healthy trust relationships. I was so happy to hear you focus on that during Black Wall Street, that building those trust relationships, meaning the relationships where you're just getting to know people in their value system and actions, just shooting the breeze sometimes, getting to understand what makes people tick, what do they live for, right? You have to develop those relationships through not just going to networking sessions, asking for opportunity, but offering how you can serve and work alongside them. And so we built relationships for years. I think you may have heard me say it was a 7-year plan. We planned for 7 years before we launched the company. Okay. And so when we launched the company, because it was so well planned, we were able to go back to our relationships and secure contracts out the gate. Okay. And so it's a long-term strategy.
In the business, already with business.
Yes. Already with business. And so we knew, and this was after we failed at other entrepreneurial ventures that people told us we should have done it. And the ones we didn't make sense because we didn't have the relationships in those communities. So it's very important that you, number one, work with people who are already in business that you trust and be mentored at their feet. And mentorship means this, okay? Because I do a whole lot of mentorship. I do not take on mentees. Mentorship means that when you are receiving wisdom from someone and they're offering that wisdom, you should return and at least share and explain how you have applied that wisdom. That's all a mentor wants. That's how you develop the trust. You demonstrate that you have the discipline to apply what you've learned, and you've taken it, you've shown appreciation for it, and you're giving it back somewhere, or you're developing something. And so when people see that you can develop something, they will want to work with you. When they can see you will follow through, they will want to work with you. I give my mentees assignments all the time. Read this book, study this, right? Come back to me and tell me what you thought about it. Okay, the next thing may be come with me to this event, right? And I'm getting an understanding of how they treat people, how they behave. What we're known for is, number one, caring for people enough that we listen and hear what they need, and then coming back with solutions that blow their minds. That's what we do. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to create sanctuary. We're a cybersecurity company on purpose. Cybersecurity means the art of securing people within not just a digital complex, but within life. It starts with human behavior. But you have to care about people to do that, to do it effectively. And so we know that we are here to build sanctuaries and to be that everywhere we go and to leave it behind.
Have we become so Americanized that we're losing that? When I look at what I see in media and film or social media, some of us have lost our cotton picking minds.
Yeah, conscientiousness, our practice of what we know to be good and well for the all. Yes.
I mean, it's like, what won't we do to get on television? What won't we wear? I'm seeing people teach toddlers some of the nastiest songs. It's a baby. What are you doing? Putting weave in babies? It's a baby. Why are you gluing this stuff on this baby's head, you moron?
Right.
What is happening to us? Have we lost our minds trying to fit in?
Yes. So have we as human beings, begin to, are we as human beings accepting being products of the technological framework, right? Are we doing that? Yes, humans are doing that crazily. However, the reason we're in Baltimore, because so many people here, we have more people here, I believe, and in my experience, that are pushing against that grain and choosing to collect and come together and work together in a very intentional way and go back to the ways that work to develop us and our core as a people by as a people, I mean as highly conscientious human beings, than I've seen anywhere else. So Baltimore actually gives me hope because people are pushing against that, and saying, you know what? I think I'm going to be a little more intentional about what I'm feeding my mind, body, and soul. We're seeing that in Baltimore, and that's what gives me hope. We're seeing it in other Black Wall Street locales too, where so many of us are collecting. Is it hard to make this shift? Yes, it is. But the Black homeschooling movement is at the epicenter of that shift. That's why we are homeschooling. Our numbers are increasing year by year. And as our numbers are increasing, we are improving education for everyone, because when we homeschool, we have to create our own collection of resources, and those resources become rich. And those resources tend to be people like us who care about what we feed our minds and souls. And so, yes, we need to be very concerned and work every day against this. But a way to do it is to become educated about what education is, number one, what the resources are, and how we all can be resources amongst ourselves, and then to share those resources as collectivist people.
I was sharing with you about one of our big time sponsors, Dr. Tyrone Taborn. He founded Black Engineer Magazine, Hispanic Engineer. Did you get a chance to visit Baya.org?
I did. I checked it out a little bit. We're going deeper into it today, actually, with my children. Yes.
That'll be happening here in Baltimore, February, I think the 13th through the 15th at the Convention Center, packed with people, military, top-notch military defense contractors. Okay, so we didn't get to everything. Homeschooling, the technology, how did your young people, they were dressed. So one, I wanted to say thank you for having them come to an adult business event dressed better than some of the adults. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What was your question? You said, how did our young people what?
How did they receive? I guess you kind of talked about how they received it. It was so much that was going on, but I guess we should tell them about your children in particular. You got 5 awards for the young people under your care.
Yes. And so the Agility Network, in partnership with our business, Agile Care Enterprises, incubates young entrepreneurs. We operate in cohorts. And so we have our K through 12, really they're middle school to high school, the 10-year-olds and up. And then we also have our undergrad and grad students that we incubate. And so we have 2 cohorts of students that we're working with, and we work with up to 9 on the high school side and 5 on the undergraduate side. Our young people, they've been raised in entrepreneurship. Their families are entrepreneurial. Either their parents are consultants, or they may own their own organization. So they're being raised to be entrepreneurs. And our cohort, entrepreneurship is part of their career path in addition to college.
And colleges want them. That's what you told me.
Colleges want them. Yeah, they're like the poster children. Yeah, colleges want them because they already have the discipline that college is trying to instill in their students. They're already the problem solvers, the creatives, right? They're already the self-directed learners that can take that syllabus and create a plan of action to make sure they complete. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not going to have their challenges like anyone else, but it does mean that they go into college highly resourceful, and that's why they go in with scholarships. And so our children, I'll give a perfect example. My eldest son, instead of going to a flight school, he chose the Part 61 path, which means that he is studying for his pilot licensure on his own. And he's already beating out the adults because he has a discipline that's unmatched, right? which has made him one of the youngest certified student pilots, and he'll be taking his knowledge exam any week now. I think he told me the end of January. But his instructor, who's also a young pilot from Baltimore, by the way, he's from Baltimore, graduated from Poly, an amazing young brother, has taken solace under his wing, and has shown him how to do what he did when he was in his late 20s. He was like, your son could do the same thing. And so we believe in working without bounds. Children are able and capable of learning how to manage life at a young age if we give them the experiences to do so. That's how it was before we integrated into American public schools.
And let other people start thinking for us.
Yes, they thinking for us. And then we let go and said, oh, the schools can do it. No, it's always about, and my mother knew this, it's a bad idea to allow your child to be raised by someone else where they adopt their values versus yours.
Foolish.
And so if that means, and my mother did it, my mother, she couldn't work certain jobs because she had to be available to us during the school day to make sure we were getting our proper education. She did not go to college until I went to college, and I'm the youngest of 6. She waited, and then she started a whole new life once I went to college and got her master's degree before me. Yes. And so it is so important. On a mission. It is so important that when we make a choice to become parents, that we are very intentional about making sure our children are instilled with the values, the capabilities, right? And the conscientiousness to serve this world right. Right? For the world to serve them.
We don't know what we can do.
Right.
We're so willing to accept what's given to us. Instead of thinking, hey,
what can I do?
I can do better than this at home.
Yep. And that's what we're doing. And it's so important. It's so important that we understand that as a people, we have everything we need. We're
not from a position of lack, but of abundance.
We're not.
We got that lack mentality.
Yep. We have everything we need. We do need to trust each other, and we do need to, and that's part of what we're doing in Agility Network, is showing families how to trust each other, how to give each other grace when you need grace, but also how to hold each other accountable when that is needed as well. And that can be done with a high level of kindness, courtesy, and compassion. And sharing that, look, we're going to push through whether you're ready or not. And when you're ready, we're still going to be here. You plug right on in, but you're going to come right along with us, You
got a question from Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
About AI taking over education. And possibly replacing the teacher. How has your business model changed?
So I'm so glad you asked that question. So we're teaching our children how to own infrastructure, not be the consumer of infrastructure. I think AI taking over education is overstatement. It's not taking over education. In fact, AI is a misnomer. It's intelligence that has been harnessed by humans to behave a certain way. We better respect it. We better respect the intelligence. And we better, in my opinion, seize the opportunity to learn and study better from interaction with AI versus allowing the AI to think for us. And so what we do in our educational model is use the AI to help children understand and direct how to create better study habits, right? How to dig deeper in their research, because if you know how to engage in the AI will help you dig deeper into the research. But we're also teaching our children what it truly means to be a scientist in an agile engineering, deploying the methods. Anytime you interact with AI, you're not just supposed to take what it says at face value. You're supposed to research, verify, and validate. And so we're using the AI to teach our children how to deploy those methods. And guess what's coming? Guess what the results are as a result of that engagement? They're studying more. They're reading more. They're reading more than they usually would, and they're enjoying what they're reading. They're thinking more. It's helping them develop discernment processes, which is what's missing in our current school system. And so don't be afraid of AI. Respect what it is. Learn how it's designed. Learn how it's harnessed, not designed. Learn how it's harnessed. Make sure your children learn. I'm developing with some colleagues AI training curriculum right now for our students, because we're not playing. And so we know it works well because we've done it with robotic engineering and design. My children not only do the things that they were awarded for at Black Wall Street, they're programmers, they're coders. My daughter's in coding classes right now. She has a robotic class later on, robotic engineering class later on. AI helps to bolster that learning. And so we're not afraid of AI. We understand what it is. We're leaning into it. It's been here since we've been aware of it since the 1950s. It's just that the commercialization of it has made people believe that it's something new. It's not new. We've been using it for quite some time. And now we're learning how to harness it.
How do you deal with, I went to Lamel. I don't know if you know about Baltimore, Lamel Junior High School. But you had to fight every day. We were into the books, but every day after school, you better put them up. That's just how do we grow our children's social skills with homeschooling?
Yes. So believe it or not, with homeschooling,
they're fighting every day.
The question is what type of social skills. So for instance, my children are very comfortable around adults. They'll interact with any adult. They're not intimidated by anyone. I have one that may not speak a lot. He's a lot like I was when his age, but he takes in a lot and he's super intelligent. With homeschooling, it's important to create collectives. Some people have co-ops where they actually agree to a certain curriculum and educate their children in that curriculum. Some people may go to a private school, but it's important that you make sure you put your children in different programs outside of your home, so they're meeting other children and other people. My children are they learn within an ongoing collective of over 25 students, right? And so think about high school. Think about who your friends are. Do you have 25 friends, or do you have like 3 and then you're fighting against the rest? Right? You gotta think about that.
Me, myself.
No, not you yourself, but the average person. You're an extrovert. So of course you have lots of community. So in homeschooling, what we're seeing is that the socialization is actually very good today, like the way we do it today, because the child is not just in the home. I've been a part of the movement, especially in this Baltimore, DC region of working with businesses to create programs for us. And so our children are they're trained university style, where they have classes on different campuses. So they're getting the socialization like they have not had in the past in homeschooling. So socialization really is not a problem for homeschoolers.
So
that are resourceful.
we have a Black Wall Street Expo coming up on February 22nd, and we're looking forward to seeing and hanging with your young people even more. What's next for you? How can people support you? Where do you want people to go? Website? Let's make sure we get our information out there about the Agility Network and what you can do for them.
Yes. So what's next for us is we have developed our replication model. We want more collectives, number one, more collective of homeschoolers to do what we have done. And we want you to learn from us and potentially start your own collective that we can help guide. We want everyone to go to www.agilitynetwork.org. We will be starting our annual fundraising campaign from the Black Wall Street Expo. That is our plan. We need organizations to partner with us to provide mentors for our children. We make sure that they're ready to go out into the world and to interact with you and to effectuate the wisdom that you will impart to them. But we need mentors from various career paths. While we are very STEM, with a root in the arts driven organization, and building a pipeline into our ecosystems of tech businesses. We also want people from different facets of life. And so we want you to support us, like us on Instagram. We do have a Facebook page. You'll see agilitynetwork.org. Encourage our children. And if you are a homeschooler, world schooler in need of finding community, we invite you to engage with us wherever we are. And so support our work. We work with K through 12. We also work with undergrad and grad students, and we have partnerships with universities for them. And we're looking for businesses that are willing to hire interns or offer job shadowing opportunities. That's probably the most important and pressing need that we have right now. We'll even develop an internship program for you to make sure that the interns are effective. So support is provided as well at that level. And just thank you for.
Tasha, here in the city of Baltimore, we have the Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys, founded by Edwin Avent, over in East Baltimore. He founded a school for Black boys. They wear shirt and ties, kind of like that academy out in Chicago that always brags about 80-90% of their young people going to college. Anyway, the school superintendent, the schools, they were giving him flack. They were giving him flack a couple of years ago. They were threatening to close his school and this and that. And it's just nice to know that we, as a beautiful Black people, we have options. I don't care if the head of the school system is Black, white, Latino, purple, polka dot, whatever. I just believe in a majority Black city, we ought not be struggling with giving this quality, this caliber of education to our young people. I actually think that in a majority Black city, if this were a majority white city, I don't think white parents would settle for the caliber of education we are getting in Baltimore City public schools. Baltimore City is one of the highest. We spend more money per pupil than school jurisdictions around the country, around the world. We're graduating young people who cannot write their names in cursive. Something is fundamentally wrong. 60 is not passing. And more of our young people need to go to college than we are having. We've settled. Our ancestors who were enslaved had to learn by candlelight how to read. All they wanted was for the next generation to be able to read, to be able to articulate, to go to college, to be able to advance, to be able to achieve. We don't come from dummies.
That's right. That's right. And schooling, K through 12 schooling should be where our children, all of our children should be emerging out of traditional schools with trades, period. And then matriculating into college in partnership for their preparation to be what I call entrepreneurs in organizations that can evolve into entrepreneurs for those that have the wherewithal to do it. Like that should be the system. They should be leaving high school with trades. My 15-year-old, who is the designer of toys and a sculptor and a fine artist, he he prepares. He is a master. Not, I can't say he's a master chef, but he's an exquisite chef. Farm to table, farm to table, and he learned that from the time he was 7. For example,
your family also are planters.
Yes.
Farmers.
Yep.
Food.
Yep. It's in his DNA, and we enabled him to learn in that way, and so it's so important that we make these choices. It's so important. Because I have a meeting I have to go to next.
We gotta bring it back again. Don't forget about UMBC.
UMBC. No, I will not. Yeah, we're definitely. I have some people I need to talk to today about that.
Okay, good deal. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And y'all gotta look up. She's all over social media. The Vanzie family. Let me tell you, when they come like North Carolina A&T. They bring everybody, including the goldfish, the doggy, grandma. Don't mess with them Vanzies. Homeschool or not, they will come with the heat. Good morning, world.
Deep. Thank you.